Hey, welcome back to our Pokemon Scarlet, Pokemon Violet walkthrough. In the last episode, we concluded the Victory Road storyline by taking on the Elite Four, the Grand Champion, became a champion ourselves, and celebrated that by taking on the Mona as an equal for the first time. In this episode, we are going to begin the post-game by heading to the Zero Gate to head to Area Zero, the Great Crater of Paldea. We're going to set a destination. We are starting from Medali as that is the closest city to it. So, this post-game, I have a lot to say about this. A lot of good and a little bit of bad, especially about the gameplay loop. We're going to get into that as we get there. We're just going to try and avoid any wild Pokemon as we can. Pick up any items along the way. Not going to be too handy. This gate was locked off to us throughout the main story, but now we have concluded all three of the storylines. Starfell Street, Path of Legends, and Victory Road. We are allowed in. And we fulfill our promise to Arven made a couple of episodes ago after completing the Path of Legends by putting together a group of 4. This is the Zero Gate. It was made so researchers could try to observe the inside of the Great Crater of Paldea, what folks call Area Zero. It's our ticket down into the crater. Oh, and speaking of the crater, you know that Pokemon of yours, the one I gave you? Area Zero is apparently where Koraidon was born, or something like that. Maybe it'll be happy that it can finally come back home. Not that I really care or anything. Alright, Christ. Anyway, our 2 new teammates should be waiting for us inside the Zero Gate. Guess we should head in. Our 2 other teammates going to be characters you are very familiar with. It all comes together in The Way Home, the final storyline of Scarlet and Violet. There's going to be some version differences. I'm not going to show them in this video. However, I plan on releasing a separate video when the time comes of all the Pokemon Violet version differences. And also showcasing the different Pokemon that appear in that game, but not in this one also. Kind of dark in there. Or dark in here. Here's our first teammate, Nemona. You guessed it. All 3 main characters, all the main characters that we battle towards the end of each plot are all going to join us for this final storyline. Spoken like a guy who wants to get beaten in a battle. Oh, Nemona. All of these bicker a lot throughout the post-game. I don't get why we can't all just get along. It is weird that the light's off. Electricity was up and running. I mean, the electricity is clearly up and running because those screens are on. Now the lights are on. Okay, great. Penny has turned them on. Of course it's Penny. Seems like they're on power saving mode. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, great. That explains my issue with that. I hacked into the system controls and overrode. God, Penny would be such a good friend to have. She hacked into like the banking system of Naranja Academy, gave herself a ton of LP. This thing here, mainly I want the money. Mainly I want a friend who can hack me loads of money. If I ever become rich, I promise I haven't done that. Shady eyes. Right, I'm really not the adventuring type, but I owe you, Peter, when I pay my debt. She's surprisingly old-fashioned like that. Of course, everyone knows me. Arven. Alright. God, get a bit too big for your boots here, Arven. My loves include my boss stiff and cooking and biometric identification in progress. Oh, it's Professor Sada. Hello, Peter Winner. I've been expecting you. Just me. And it seems you've gathered a group of formidable allies as well. One of them including your son, Sada. Sorry, who are you? She just doesn't even acknowledge that her son's in the room. This poor guy. I said a few episodes ago, I feel really bad for Arven. He's been a bit of a egotistical so-and-so so far in this episode. He's been a bit too big for his boots, but all in all, can we blame him? Probably needs a lot of therapy, but yeah. Arven, did you tell your mum about us? When would I have done that? He doesn't have contact with his mum. To begin with, I'd like to ask you all to make your way down into the Great Crater of Paldea. You can reach the lower chamber using the elevator you see to your right. Perfect. Let's do it. Oh, Mom? Please proceed below. Completely ghosted. Oh, my heart aches for him. My heart bleeds for him. They're not on good terms. It's not B. Imagine just, I don't know, that's cold. That's cold from Sada. Right, we're going to head into the Great Crater. And thus begins the post-game. And like I said, I have a lot of opinions about this, and I think they're going to be popular opinions once everyone generally plays through this. Biometric identification in progress. Proceed. Access granted to lower level. And open automatically for us. Looks to me like someone's controlling this thing remotely. We're being spied on. Once you step through, you will be above Area 0. Let's do it. Oh, I'm going to sit a bit more comfortably. Peter Winall, you've brought Koraidon with you. Yes, always. Koraidon's our boy. Thank you for bringing it with you on your many adventures. If you utilize Koraidon's gliding capabilities, you should be able to descend into the depths to reach Area 0. What? Isn't there like an elevator or something? What, did you say Koraidon can fly? So only people with Pokemon that could fly could get here. When you reach the bottom, I'll get in touch once again. Railroading people into stuff just like always. Alright, Arvin. Let's keep it professional here. I can't wait to see what Pokemon live down in Area 0. Let's go! That girl, is she like incapable of fear or what? That's why we like Nemona. I really like Nemona as a character. She's just a bundle of joy. Right. Let's fly down with Koraidon. But wait, we're not going to be able to right away because, again, another cutscene's going to occur. Good, that's all we needed to hear. Get out that Pokemon of yours and we'll be off. I mean, of course, all four of us have to glide down just solely on one Pokemon, so we couldn't escape without a cutscene. I love Koraidon. Oh, he doesn't want to. He's scared. What's the matter with it? I mean, he's been able to glide for a few episodes now, and he hasn't been scared of any heights. Maybe he's not scared of heights. Oh, look at his face. He's so happy to get encouragement. I love this Pokemon. But no need to be scared if we go together. How does that logic work? That is not a safe way to fly down. However many meters into... Okay, I'm just going to forget about us. We would break every bone in our arm doing that, but okay, that's whatever you say, game. I mean, we're gliding, so we're not falling at, like, you know, maybe the most dangerous of speeds. Or am I questioning the realism of a Pokemon game? Anyway, we fall down into the great chasm of Paldea. Here we are. The music here, once it starts, it's so creepy. I actually really like this place. Though I do have a problem with the way it is introduced to you throughout the post-game. Once you can come here with freedom, great place. And now I'm back here again. Aha, I think I might have died once or twice there. You're telling me with the way you fell? What's wrong? What's wrong, Koraidon? Are you okay? Nope. Nope, it's not. Oh. And this is my biggest complaint about the post-game. We're not able to ride Koraidon, which means we have to walk everywhere. Wait a second, where's the student council go? Where is Nemona? Did she fall off and die? No, she's here. She's here. She just went off for a wonder. Like, in the 10 seconds we've been here, she's already went for a wonder. Come on already. I guess your ability would be own tempo, huh? I love meta jokes within Pokemon games. Very funny. Vital signs all within normal range? Good. We haven't perished yet. Who could possibly complain about a landing like that? That is good. I had concerns you might fail, given the crudeness of the only available... Sada thought there was a chance we'd die. I think I'm on sarcasm. Alright, she was just willing to sacrifice us. Some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to take. You should now make your way to me at the Zero Lab, in the deepest part of Area 0. However, the entrance to the lab is barred by 4 locks, installed on the exterior, which I cannot unlock. 4 locks. 4 locks in 4 research stations. And guess what? This giant area in the center of Paldea, you have to walk to every single one. With our 3 buddies, don't get me wrong, good company. But we have to walk there. And in a game as huge as this, and in an area as huge as this, it makes it incredibly, incredibly painful. This speed we're running now, this is as fast as we can go. We got our three teammates running with us, but it's just a pain. Another complaint about this is that in just a second, and for some reason we keep stopping. I can't tell if this is a problem with my with my Switch controller. I don't think it is. Another problem with this is that there's text at the bottom. Obviously, you're focusing on where you're trying to walk, trying not to bump into Pokemon. And it makes it very difficult to read what's going on at the bottom of the screen. And some really interesting stuff is being told to us. What do you just call the professor if she's down here? Don't get along or something? None of your business, Pipsqueak. This would have been the perfect opportunity to implement voice acting. They didn't have to do voice acting for the entire game, of course. But in this case, it would have made it just significantly better. There's a Pokeball over there. We're not going to go for it. We're just going to get through this entire saga. I might end up skipping some of this running, though I do want to read what's going on at the bottom because I don't want you guys to miss it. Penny, how do you wind up with friends with PD1 anyway? Well, I guess he just really came through for me. Everything was going off the rails. School was a mess. PD1 was a big help getting all that sorted. It's the text speed is also a little too fast for someone who's trying to concentrate on numerous things at once, trying not to bump into Pokemon, trying to wonder where you're going. You think you've got cool friendship origin stories with Peter Winall? They're nothing compared to... It's too fast for me, apparently. Maybe I'm just illiterate. Anyway, you slide down here, and this is going to be the location of the first research lab. Before each research lab, you are going to basically be forced to partake in a battle with a Pokemon that you probably haven't seen before. In the case of this first battle, it's a Pokemon you would have seen in the final champion battle. However, things get way more interesting with the rest of the research labs. So, first Pokemon. What the heck is that? Of course, we've bumped into one. It's the Pokemon Lapramera uses. It's another species could be found in the Great Crater. This is where you can find one of these wilds. You can't catch this as far as I'm aware. In fact, I haven't even really tried. I think it's just a standard battle. So, we are leading with our Annihilate. We've also done a little bit of training before doing all of this. We've got our Annihilate to level 75. I think that's going to be good enough. As you can tell, this Glamorva is already pretty much a higher level than anything we faced in the Elite Four, barring the champion. We're able to one-hit KO it due to Annihilate having Stomping Tantrum. Toxic Debris, that doesn't matter. And here, we're going to learn a little bit more about the giant chasm, the crater within Paldea at this research lab. There's going to be a lot more of these rare Pokemon down here, you think? Yes. You think that was something? Please. You've got no idea how terrifying Area Zero really is. Patronizing much. Like, look, Arvin's going through a lot. We're going to cut him some slack. He's dealing with the idea that he could confront his estranged mother for the first time in years. You know what? He can be a bit snarky. We understand. So here's the first research lab. And this is where and there's an item just located right there, a citrus berry. Yeah, nice to have a citrus berry. In fact, we might give that to a couple of Pokemon. I say couple. We'll give all the citrus berries we've got to a couple of Pokemon. These are the ancient ruins. They look far too recent for that. It appears you have reached your first research station without incidents. This facility was constructed 87 years ago as a way station for those surveying Area Zero. So that's why there's a bed. Looks like we can use this place to rest up if we need to. If you've bumped into one too many wild Pokemon while you've been here. Or maybe you struggled in that fight just now against the Glamorva. You can heal up. We're not going to need to. We only used one attack. We press the button. Lock disabled. 3 of 4 locks are still active. Please continue your efforts at the remaining research stations. Let's do it. Let's continue on, I guess. There's also a teleport pad there. I presume that takes you back to the very top. Right. The next research lab should be within viewing distance anytime now. There it is. You can just see it directly in front of me here. Click for myself, claim for myself. My Bustiff was the only one. Because this is just a short path, you've already seen the distance there. I'll see you there. And here we are effectively at the research lab. I did quickly want to say there are some very interesting Pokemon that spawn down here. And even more start spawning the further down you get. Pokemon like Frigiraff, Glamora like we've seen. Just super, super interesting Pokemon that you might have had difficulty evolving at one point in the game. Now you can encounter them here. The Dunsparce is another one. So, here we are, second research lab. I wonder which Pokemon we're going to be met to face here. Nimona not too far behind. Let's head in and take a breather. Thought you'd have a bit more stamina, student council girl. I'm just full of surprises. That wasn't a compliment. Arvin has a proper attitude problem. I said we are going to cut him some slack. What the heck is that thing? Look, a Jigglypuff. It's good to see some nice familiar Pokemon down here too. It doesn't look too familiar to me. It looks like an enhanced version of the ancient Jigglypuff from that one episode of the Pokemon anime in the first season. This is not a Jigglypuff. This is an incredibly interesting dynamic in this game, which we've already seen with the Great Tusk as one of the Titan Pokemon. This is a Paradox Pokemon. A Pokemon from the past in Pokemon Scarlet. In Pokemon Violet, you will be facing Pokemon from the future. Screamtail. This is a fairy psychic type Pokemon, which means it is weak to our Shadow Punch. It's probably going to take 2 or 3 turns to be able to KO this. These are Pokemon with base stat totals of 570, so this is much stronger than your standard Jigglypuff. Just overall, super, super interesting dynamic. The unique selling point of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet in my eyes. Look at those defenses and that speed and that HP. Just, I love this. I love this mechanic. It's so cool. It's the coolest thing they've done since Mega Evolutions, and I hope in DLC they expand upon this, because I would love to see more Pokemon from the ancient past and the distant future. Let's get inside already. I presume that it won't be a Jigglypuff you face there in Pokemon Violet, as Screamtail is a Pokemon that is exclusive to Pokemon Scarlet. Of course, I'm going to be covering what I see in Scarlet, but we will get around to covering in a future video what you see in Pokemon Violet as well. What's with this place? That Pokemon? I've been wondering about that myself. I think maybe that Pokemon was one of these. We've already seen the contents of this page. Again, I have to stress, one of our teams suffered a brutal blow from such a beast and was mortally wounded, forcing us to retreat for a time. That is horrific. That is terrifying. Monsters of Area 0, so they aren't actually Pokemon? I don't really know. What do you think, PD Winall? I think they are Pokemon. I think they are Pokemon. I mean, they look different, sure, but they use moves in battle just like Pokemon we know. I think you would have said the same as us regardless, Nimona. I don't think you think for yourself. Professor, some of the life forms that you see residing now within Area 0 are ancient Pokemon that lived in a distant past long lost to us. Ancient Pokemon? Now that's awesome. Come on now, there's no way that's possible. The Zero Lab, where I am located, contains a time machine. It summons the ancient Pokemon to this place. So the thing my mum spent forever researching down here, she actually got it working. This is so interesting. The cost was catastrophic. But a time machine you could actually travel to and from the past? It's theoretically possible to travel to the past. However, for a being such as a human, it would not be possible to return to the present. That is horrifying. Would you do that? What do you call us hit? I'd love to be the human being that would do that, but I don't think I could. I got too much comfort here in the present. If possible, I'd like us to speak when we can meet face to face. It'll be easier for you to understand once you can see the situation for yourself. Okay, the central panel. Let's press the lock. I always say I've been born into the precise generation I was supposed to be born. I was 14, 15 when YouTube started getting popular. Even if this series completely flops and like this is the end of my YouTube career, like I've had a very good go with it. You know, the book she told me to bring, I think it's got something to do with this place, or more like everything to do with this place. Well, I'm not the one she expects to fix whatever all this is. You are. I think you should be the one to carry it. We are given the Scarlet book. A record of the expedition of the author Heath went on within the great crater of Paldea. Book has the name Sada written on it in clumsy handwriting. Interesting. Take care of it? Of course. Wouldn't do anything but. So, let's continue on. I really want to see what the teleportation panel does, but I just know that it's going to like take us far away. So, let's continue on. I will meet you at the next research lab. This dialogue that's coming at the bottom is so interesting, but it's coming up so quickly that I couldn't read it fast enough for you guys. I highly recommend, if you can, read it yourself when you play through the game yourself. Right, see you at the next research lab. And here is the third research lab. Some of you might be like, oh, please don't skip walking to the research lab. We want to know how to get there. This is very on rails. It is essentially a designated path to get to each of these research labs. So, yeah, something's going to jump out at us again, 100% guaranteed. You've called it. Such a worrywart. Huh? Here's a Great Tusk. Obviously a Pokemon we've already battled in the past. Wait a sec, this is just like that Totem Pokemon we saw. So it was an ancient Pokemon all along. You battled one of these before. It is very cool that it was just roaming the overworld in the Asado Desert. So we're going to take this on. Don't think we have anything super effective against it with Annihilate. Fortunately, there'll be a bed we can rest our Pokemon if Annihilate takes too much damage. This is ground fighting type, I believe. Lowers Mabostiff, thank you. That's very, very helpful. We're going to close combat. Just get enough damage. Get a lot of damage off on it. Yeah, 2-hit KO. That's great. Its defenses have fell, so we're just going to be taking regular damage now as Intimidate. Yeah, that didn't do too much at all. Play rough. Would have KO'd it, unfortunately, but it had to miss, didn't it? Come on, Mabostiff. I've probably been pronouncing that wrong this entire playthrough. It's going to really annoy people. I don't know how else you would pronounce it. Maybe I'm just an idiot. Right, we defeat the Great Tusk. See that? Victory is ours. Maybe the one we saw when we were searching out the Hub of Mystica came from down here. It's been a absolutely giant walk up here. You two got to meet one of those Pokemon before our crater get together. If we got things from literal ancient times roaming around Paldea, that's a major problem. Isn't Professor Sada doing anything to keep them under control? How could she let this happen? It is a little bit concerning. Not like the oh so brilliant Professor Sada messes up wow often. That's your mum. I mean, I get it. You haven't had much contact with her, but right, third research lab. One last one after this. Do we need to use the bed? We may as well. How are we doing after all that walking and battling and whatnot? Anyone need a rest? You feeling rough, Penny? Oh no, it's not that. I've just been thinking ever since the professor mentioned that time machine. Pokemon here in the Ancient Zero Area Zero came to our time from the past, right? So what about Koraidon? Isn't it pretty likely that's one of these ancient Pokemon? I think so. Look at it. It looks like a dinosaur. I think you're onto something. It is kind of giving off ancient vibes. And its name sounds pasty. Wait a sec. I totally forgot. Hey, Arvin, you had Koraidon's ball. You told us about its forms in the first place. You must know something about it, right? Ugh, you still remember that from way back? No wonder you're everybody's little star pupil. Oh my god, sorry for paying interest to... God, you'd be a nightmare to be in a relationship with. Sorry for remembering what you said. Guess I've got no choice then, but to tell you what I know. That Pokemon Koraidon, it is found by my mum when she was working on her time machine. I believe it would be best for me to take over the explanations at this point. Oh, okay, Sada wants to take the microphone. Koraidon, which I entrusted to PD Winner, was the first Pokemon that was successfully retrieved from the past by the time machine. Okay, through analysis of its genetic makeup as well as its behavioural patterns, we came to realise that what I had discovered was in fact an ancient form of Cycliza, the Pokemon still commonly ridden in this region. That makes sense, I guess. They do look alike. Many other Pokemon also came to this place from across the boundaries of time, but I was never able to bring over more than 2 specimens of Koraidon. You mean there's another one around here somewhere? Okay. Well, if they're family, the other one could still be somewhere in Ancient Zero, waiting to finally be reunited with our Koraidon. A heartwarming family reunion. Exactly. Imagine how thrilled they'll be if we can get the family back together after all this time. I don't know. Koraidon seemed pretty frightened. If we could proceed. Yep, let's disable the lock. The third and penultimate lock. Let's do it. And I will showcase getting down to the final research lab, I believe. Only one remains now. Please continue on to the final research station because we are going to see some pretty interesting stuff in this last portion. We're not going to heal. We're fine. Annihilate will annihilate everything. So into the final portion. You've got to let me battle Koraidon right now. Nemona, now's not the time. It still won't come out of its Pokemon. It's frightened. It's such a lovely Pokemon. Why would you want to battle it? Plus, I've already come from the past myself. It was just some weird Pokemon my mum brought home all of a sudden one day. We all lived together at the Lighthouse Lab for a while. My mum made me a promise to keep it a secret and I had to take care of it for her too. That's why you knew so much about it. That makes sense then. That makes sense why we were entrusted with it. Ended up seeing it. Once that happened, my mum took it and went back to Area 0. Guess that makes sense if it's a Pokemon from the past. I didn't see my mum or Koraidon again after that for ages. Looking back on it now, it seems stupid. I felt like I'd lost my mum because of Koraidon. It was the worst feeling ever. Hated Koraidon. Didn't even want to talk about it. Sorry for not telling you what I knew. You should be sorry. Shoot, that's like the coolest thing ever. Here we are. The final area within the Great Crater of Paldea. I really like this place. I really like the music. It's the perfect music for it. It reminds me of a more expanded, like, Ether Foundation, I guess, from Pokemon Sun and Moon. Look at these huge, gorgeous crystals. They go all the way to the bottom. One slip and we can kiss our short lives goodbye. Oh, good call. What's your step? Now, I've got a phone that will save my life. So the professor's down there somewhere waiting for us. This is heavy and that's fine. Totally fine. Alright, team. Watch yourself and let's get to the bottom of this thing. This place looks unreal. Maybe there really is treasure down here like the stories say. This place looks something from a whole other world. Makes you feel like maybe you already died and went somewhere. Is it just me or do the crystals here give off the same glow as when Pokemon terrestrialize? There's gotta be some sort of connection. Only one way to find out. Come on everybody, let's keep moving. Gotta go all the way down. Gotta get down to the research lab. All these crystals. We're gonna see some very interesting Pokemon spawn as well. We are basically given the direction of where we need to go, right? Great. Dugtrio, quite a boring Pokemon to have down here. There's our first encounter with Screamtail. You can catch that now if you like. We're not going to. Obviously, I'm going to in my own time because I want to know all about all of these Paradox forms. So Koraidon came to our age. It lived here a while with the professor along with another one of its kind. That seems to be the story. So we brought it back home, kind of. Or to its second home, at least. I guess this place should be familiar to it, sure. That's great. A chance to unwind and bask in the familiarity. Doesn't exactly jive without it being acting all spooked. Doesn't seem eager to come out of its ball anytime soon. I was just scared we were so high up. Who said it was scared of heights? It's true. When I cried earlier. Acting earlier. Something must have happened. Sometimes you get all shaky seeing a place. You can encounter shiny Paradox forms, by the way. So, that makes them even more exciting because, my lord, I cannot wait to shiny hunt these things. I want all of them. I want all of them shiny. I'm just saying that because I super badly want to battle Koraidon myself. You're not going to battle it here. We might at some point, Nemona, but now's not the time. You see all these schools of Gibble and Gabite. You would have been able to encounter a Garchomp at this point in the game if you had fully explored everywhere and stuff. We are coming up on this final research laboratory where we can then head even deeper and see what waits beyond. It's so cool seeing these. It really sells just how creepy this is. This whole area. I love the AI for the trainers, by the way. That it's so so brain dead. They run into walls, buildings, waterfalls. This place is a mess. It looks like something went berserk here. But what? Hello, children. Hello, Sada. Professor, you scared us. I'm sorry. Why is everything in here all busted up? Sorry. Hello, children? So, hello, children. Hello. What the? Stop that. You're creeping us out. Hello, child. Initiating restart. The professor must be having some weird connection problems or something. It's definitely weird. It's almost like, I don't know. If she meant it as a joke, it wasn't funny. I've still got goosebumps and all. Maybe there's something more to Professor Sada. Do you want to press the button to disable one of the locks? Yes, of course we do. All the locks are disabled. Hello, can you hear me now? If you look at the text, some of it looks off. Please forgive me for... Please forgive my previous transmission. There seems to be some signal interference. That's not what that was. What do you mean, Arvin? Locks have all been disabled at last. Please make your way now to the Zero Lab, which lies at the very bottom of Area 0. Let's do it. Arvin seems suspicious. Arvin doesn't like what just happened. Arvin would know his own mother best, right? Something definitely off about the professor. Maybe it's just a little dramatic flair to get us jazzed up. I don't think so. Maybe even big time jazz. This is why we like Nemona. Pretty sure that call was really... It's nothing. Okay. I'm going to grab this Pokeball. Keep walking very slowly. It's like the game is trying to stop you from walking too fast so you can see all of the text, and I like that we can see the text, but I don't like that the game is literally stopping you. It's forcing you to be on rails, and I don't know. I will see you at the bottom, and here we are at the very bottom of the giant chasm of Paldea, the giant crater of Paldea. Let's see what it has for us. Have we finally reached the deepest part? We made it. Ready to see if those legends of treasure down here are for real? Yeah, right. That's just fluff they write to fill the textbooks. We're in a phone call. Hello, children. You've done well to make it here. The structure you see before you is the Zero Lab. That's where you are, right, Professor? But wait, why does it look like the whole place is being swallowed up by crystals? The crystals here in Area 0 possess a peculiar energy. This energy can alter the functions of living things and optimize the performance of machinery. It is the same energy that allows Pokemon to terrestrialize. So this entire building's been terrestrialized. Is that what you're saying? Silly Arven. Now Penny's getting a bit sassy. Professor implied something important about Terra Orbs just now. They're made from the crystals down here in Area 0, aren't they? So that's why it's only found in this region. Indeed, though not many know it. Since you have disabled all 4 locks, the gate to the Zero Lab should now open for you. But once you open the gate, you'll quickly be confronted with the dangerous Pokemon inside. They will likely make a break for freedom. I like that the Jigglypuffs are just like chilling then. I say Jigglypuff, Screamtails. With the 4 of you working together, you should be able to best them. Prepare yourselves well, then open the gate. We're going to make sure we're fully healed. You got me and Peter Winnell here. Doesn't matter what we're up against, we'll be fine. We are champions. That puts all my worries to rest. That sounded sarcastic, Arven. You're being just too much at this point. Pokemon's all healed up. That's good. So, let's do it. Let's open up this gate. Yes. To the Zero Lab. Decide to press the button and open. Hold it. Arven! Come on now. We're finally on the cusp of getting into the lab. If it's true that a bunch of really dangerous Pokemon might come at us, then shouldn't we have Koraidon help? It's not gonna help, Arven. It doesn't want to battle. Well, I was right ever since we came down to Area 0, and it can't enter its battle form in the first place. It's really strong, I know it is. It ate all those Harbor Mystical we found too. When it really matters, I'm sure it'll fight. Area 0 is where it used to live. If you bring it out of its ball now, maybe it'll be able to find its family too, right? It's pretty sensible by your standards, Arven. I'm not sure about that. No. We're not doing it. Well, we'll see. Okay. Doesn't look too happy about being here. Come on, Peter Winnell. Now we've got Koraidon ready. Alright. Don't you upset my poor Koraidon. I love the reflections in the crystals. It looks like there's more of us. Okay. That's a second Koraidon. And our Koraidon doesn't look too happy. Wow. This is the second Koraidon that we've been told about in this episode. The family reunion. It's happening. Oh, look at our Koraidon. It doesn't look too happy. I think scary. It's in its battle form and everything. No, something's not right. It was going to attack our Koraidon. But now it's... I was going to say it's making a break for freedom. I mean, it could do. It might want to get back to the past, right? Oh. Oh, and look how much it trusts Nemona. Oh. Nemona's the good egg out of the 3 here. Oh, poor thing. What's wrong? Are you bummed that your heartwarming family reunion got cut off so quickly? You thought that was heartwarming? There's nothing heartwarming about it. We were this close to getting caught up in a nasty brawl. Yes, Nemona! Look at Koraidon. Poor thing's terrified. Yes, the other one isn't exactly its pal. He's all loafed up. The other Pokemon was giving off some real bad vibes. Not that you should worry a thing about any of that. Once we get you back into your battle form, I'm sure you'll be going toe-to-toe against that jerk. If you want to. Don't force it to do anything it doesn't want to do. This doesn't really help her. Do you think that other Koraidon was one of the dangerous Pokemon the Professor warned us to watch out for? Didn't the Professor say the dangerous Pokemon will come out from inside? Yeah, about that. Inside the gate, we just... Oh, here they come. Here they come. There's 2 there we haven't seen. We're going to battle them before we can actually enter the Zero Lab. Let's do it. This is as close to a boss battle as it could be. It's pretty obvious they're not here to roll out a friendly welcome, man. There's no way we can handle this many. Don't tell me. They're all ancient Pokemon? Got a little disaster on our hands here. Koraidon is maybe a little bit ready to battle there. Let's do this together. Let's do it. So we're going to take on 3 of these, essentially. First one is Great Tusk. Of course, will be different if you're playing Pokemon Violet. Intimidate's going to lower it. Okay, we don't have Intimidate this time. Of course, it's Lycanroc. Close combat. We'll 2-hit KO it. 3-hit KO. As long as Lycanroc hits, though. Please do something, Lycanroc. Drill Run. Good. There we go. And we will 2-hit KO it. Rapid Spin. That's fine. Doesn't affect us. Okay, great. First one wasn't too difficult, though you can tell level 64, these bosses are starting to ramp up in difficulty. They're strong. Now this is a worthwhile challenge. Glad you're on our side, but you're still really annoying when you say stuff. Be nice to Nimona, Penny. Next up are these Pokemon that look like Among Us. And let's talk about them. This is Brute Bonnet. Grass Dark type, so close combat will be super effective on this. It's more of an offensive variant, a physically offensive variant. Again, all of these have a base stat total of 570. And boy, do they distribute it well. Very good attack, great defenses, great HP, poor speed, but would work in a Trick Room strategy. That is Brute Bonnet down. There's going to be one last battle left here. Ancient Pass must have been terrifying. Koraidon's a bit more prepared to battle now. He's roaring them away. They're running away, so essentially means you're going to be able to capture them in the overworld. Why me? Oh no. Nimona, no! What are you doing? Where are you running off to? I hope the 2 of them can handle their part. But at least the crowd's been thinned out now. I guess it's up to us to deal with what's left. This Pokemon that looks like Misdreavus. This one is Fluttermane. Look at that special attack, special defense, and speed. Amazing. Now, thankfully, we are using a physical attacker here in Annihilate. Use physically attacking ghost type moves, poison attacks to defeat this. We're going to Shadow Punch. It probably will hit first though. But yeah, again, this is an incredible Pokemon, especially for competitive. I can't wait to see what this does in competitive. It will be interesting. Obviously, its defense is poor and its HP. But very cool. A very cool stat distribution. Fluttermane faints. Goes down in 1. We got a level 77 Annihilate now. The power of friendship had us perfectly in sync. All thanks to our Titan hunting together. Still scared, huh? You worry you might have to face that other one of your kind? Well then, let me take on some of the burden. Saga should be nothing. Me and Mabostif here can take them. You take your partner there and go take care of business. Got it. So, in the next episode, in the final episode of our Pokemon Scarlet Violet walkthrough, we're going to see what lies ahead in the Zero Lab. Likely take on Koraidon. Let's do it. You've got amazing powers if you just use them. You got us too. So don't you even think about losing it to that jerk. Be brave, stand up and fight. Inspirational words. I'll see you then.